I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive. ...2022 Chevy Traverse.
LT True North without launch control.
Horsepower and torque.
310 horsepower, 266 pound-feet of torque from a 3.6 liter V6.
Pretty all right power.
It's pretty decent, like definitely not slow.
And this is one of Chevrolet's many SUVs.
Yes, it's not like Ford where they committed to only making SUVs, but it turns out they make a lot of SUVs.
And this is a 3-row, but it's not like the big 3-row like the Tahoe.
So this is below the Tahoe, above the Equinox.
And then below the Equinox, we have the
Blazer.
And
then there's another one, which I actually forget what it's called.
Maybe 2.
Yeah, probably. Is the Trax an SUV?
I don't know.
And you might consider buying one of these Traverses if you want interior space, because this has a lot in the midsize class.
Yeah, when you fold all the seats down, like, there's a lot of room. This is like a huge SUV. And I guess we should probably test out if we fit in all 3 rows.
Yeah, we do, sort of. It's not the most comfortable, but we definitely fit. At least I fit.
It's good for kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially in the third.
But even like in a Tahoe, like we don't fit like super comfortably like we would in a minivan anyway.
My knees are always in my face in like every 3-row SUV.
But it's pretty decent. We got 2 sunroofs back here, which is nice too.
Luxury, Yuri.
Okay, I want to talk about the looks real quick because we haven't had a Traverse before. This is updated, so we've got cooler headlights, cooler taillights, a different grille. It definitely looks a million times better than the last gen.
The last gen was 100% rental spec.
Or pre-refresh?
Yeah, that was 100% rental spec. This is like 90% rental spec.
There is a little bit about Chevy that's like rental spec across the board though.
Like if I saw this, I would think that person just came from the airport and they're here from Florida or something.
And I actually confused this with a Cadillac. Like at the mall, I walked up to a Cadillac SUV. I actually don't know which one it was, XT7, XT6, I have no idea.
This is the non-luxury version of the XT6.
And I started like just pulling on the door handle. I'm like, what the hell? And then I looked down and the wheels weren't chrome and I'm like, I'm at the wrong car.
Fun fact, the Cadillac gets a 400 badge because it goes rounded up from the nearest 50 Newton meters. This doesn't have one, but if it did, it would also have the same badge because It has slightly less torque, but when you convert it to Newton meters, it's still rounded up 50.
Do you like the chrome wheels on this?
They're okay.
You can get a non-chrome version, which I think would be my spec. I don't really like the chrome on the front either. It's more like old man America spec.
Yeah, it really is.
And what would be the Continental recommended tire for a Traverse?
The Cross Contact LX20.
But I think if you get a different version with all blacked out front, and then you can get body matched instead of cladding at the bottom, I think that looks better. But you can't tell that there's cladding here because it's a black car covered in snow today.
You know what they need a version of this? The ZL1 or ZL1 version with a flow tie in the front, a big old wing.
A Trackhawk version of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Durango style.
Yes.
But the one chrome thing I do like about this is that there's like nice chrome line around the first 2 windows. I think that actually looks sick.
It's not a bad looking car, it's just none of it stands out to me at all.
It does kind of blend in, especially when compared to like a Palisade and a Telluride, which is also its competition.
Yeah, and if you're shopping for a Kia Telluride on tsp.truecar.com, highly recommend discounted price offers. The average markup on a Telluride is actually 6% above MSRP, so if you want a deal, you'll get a really good one on this because most of the sales on this car have been between MSRP and 2% off.
And if you order a new Kia Telluride or Hyundai Palisade, I feel like there are a whole bunch of delays to getting one custom built for you.
But some of the things you may have to watch out for because we're in this 2021-2022 world of chip shortage, we actually have a chip shortage in this car because we have heated seats, but they don't work. They will be installed later.
But I mean, at least they can get the cars out to you because I would rather have no heated seats than not have a car.
Right, like would you rather wait months and not have a car or just not have heated seats? So they chose not having heated seats, which I find that to be a good option.
So before you drive, I want to mention a couple little things that I really like about this. We've got this screen here, this infotainment screen.
This is the #1 feature.
We can hold this button and make it go up, which is pretty cool. And you can fully use it while it's up here, and it's even more in your line of sight. It's perfect. It's like a Mazda or a BMW.
It's kind of crazy that they actually have the screen fully illuminated when it's up.
Yeah, and then in here is that secret compartment where you can put cool stuff. So that's really nice. That's like a cool GM thing that no one else really does.
I'm gonna put that screen right back down, and it hasn't turned off.
But the thing that sucks is there's not enough hard buttons, I think, to get through everything. But what's cool is you can hold your home button to toggle through your CarPlay projection and back to your main screen.
That is a smart way to do it.
But when you go back to your main home screen to get to your music, this button is so small and hard to aim for. I think there's a little more work they can do, but this is a pretty decent infotainment.
And then we do have hard buttons for climate control. They're fairly small, but they're still easy to use.
Yeah. And what I also like is that the armrests are perfect for putting your elbows on them while having your hands on the steering wheel.
I find it oddly high. I don't know why.
Maybe because you're too tall.
Maybe. Maybe I should just raise my seat in this car.
But for me, it's great. Next thing I love, love, love. All my favorite Chryslers have the radio controls behind the steering wheel. And now the Traverse does as well.
No paddle shifters?
No, it just has a gear limiter on the shifter. I love these behind the steering wheel buttons for your radio. It really saves the clutter on the steering wheel buttons.
It's convenient once you get used to it.
But unfortunately, there's no tuning knob.
We just have tuning buttons.
Yeah, I like a knob more.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Oh, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that's nice as well. And we have a nice wireless charger down here too, with 2 USBs right here and an aux. Little old school.
Holy crap.
Pick up the rental car from the airport, plug in the aux. Let's see which friend has Vacation Vibe playlist going right now.
Wow. Let me know in the comments if your phone still has aux without an adapter. That's the key.
Do Android still do that?
Yeah, I think some of them still do.
Android did it first,
Let
right?
me know.
That's the saying? And the last thing that I really like before you drive, we both have kids. We have a car seat. If you put a car seat in this seat right there, there's a handle that'll move the whole seat forward on an angle so that you don't have to remove the car seat to get out of the third row.
Ooh, that's convenient.
Yeah, and it's on the side that is closest to the sidewalk, which makes perfect sense because you don't have it on this side.
Yes.
And you probably won't be fishing the baby out on the roadside if you can.
I've never had my baby behind me directly because I usually need the room from the seat behind.
But if you didn't, it would still be sketchier to take a baby out on the open roadside.
Yes.
Open roadside.
Yes.
Okay. Your turn to drive.
Send it! Brake boost.
Made no difference. Transmission does a weird thing there.
Yeah, so we do have a 9-speed auto. It does maybe it's the gearing in between those 3 gears right there.
Yeah.
Felt CVT-ish.
Kind of like the Edge.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyways, decent power. Transmission's a little bit weird, but normally it's actually fairly smooth.
For putting around town,
yeah.
For normal people, I don't go fast stuff.
So let's talk about how this drives. Now, unfortunately, it's very snowy and very icy today, so Cliche Corner, not gonna send it. We sent it through there earlier, and it just kind of understeered and we just didn't want to crash, basically.
But it did a lot better if you turned stability and traction off, which unfortunately you had to do through your gauge cluster.
Yes, and then stability turns itself back on once you get to a certain speed, but traction stays off.
And we were in 4 all-wheel drive, not 2.
Yes.
Which is front-wheel drive.
Exactly. So this has a couple different drive modes, and it is cool that you can actually vary your 4-wheel drive or your all-wheel drive and your front-wheel drive. And then we also have off-road mode and then tow mode.
So I drove this thing all week pretty much in 2-wheel drive mode, but I still got horrible gas mileage because I was using the My Chevrolet app to preheat the car constantly because it was cold and snowing, and I just like using the app to start the car. But you can also start the car using the key fob, which is cool too.
And then we don't have any adaptive suspension or anything like that, just regular old suspension. No real issues, it's fairly comfortable. You can kind of notice it going over bumps and stuff like that, but it's not uncomfortable at any point.
And like the road noise, it's very quiet.
Surprisingly quiet.
Like
well insulated. It's
borderline luxurious.
Yeah, because it's rainy, so you can hear the tires and water and stuff like that, but it's totally fine.
Hey, you want to hear some stuff that I don't really like?
I mean, I have some stuff I don't like.
Yeah, let me tell you mine first. So
you had the whole front half of the review. Let me tell you my stuff now.
To get into the car, you need to push the button on the handle instead of just like putting your hand there.
Once you're sitting in this interior, it's very plasticky and cheap. Very plasticky and cheap.
That's why we have like the rental car kind of idea of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's down here. It's all this stuff.
Exactly. This shiny kind of weird textured plastic that every other company has sort of solved by now, and Chevy just hasn't.
But it's almost like it's Chevy's thing kind of.
What else don't I like? Honestly, just the general look of this interior. It's so plasticky. I know we just said that, but like the type of materials, the textures and everything just make it look cheap.
But at least it's not piano black.
Yes. But
Like-
then we have piano black.
Yeah,
up
but
here,
like
that's
this
fine.
part here,
Yeah. If that was gloss black, like, yeah.
they need to take notes from the new Civic.
Exactly. That texture is A+.
But look at this material here.
That material, if that was down here, 10 out of 10.
This like silvery, glossy, normal painted stuff is nice.
Exactly. But that probably costs a lot of money, which is why it's nowhere else in this interior. And that's the other thing, is it doesn't match anything else in this interior. It's not even the exterior paint color. Like,
Yeah,
it's nothing.
I don't know if it's customizable or how that works. Another thing I like, we have 3 garage door buttons here. That's pretty good. So say you have,
Pretty standard for 1995.
say you have 5 or 6 garage doors at your house,
Yeah.
and you only sometimes park in 3 of them. You can have them all, like that's perfect, right?
If you had 5 or 6 garage doors, you probably aren't shopping for a Traverse or Traverse. That's what we're in.
You never know.
Just saying, you're
Like-
probably in the GMC version or the Cadillac
Maybe people,
version.
not everyone lives in Toronto. You could live in Kansas where like,
Well,
maybe
then you're
5
probably shopping for an Urus instead because your house costs $100,000.
Yeah, there's there's got to be a city where you have 5 garages and you have a Traverse.
Let us know if that applies to you. You know what else
Sudbury?
No, that house prices anywhere in Canada are just totally, no. You got to go somewhere in the States. You know what else I like about this SUV?
What?
Snow brush. Snow brush that GM gave us. This is amazing.
Yo, it's actually the best snow brush I've ever seen in my life. Here,
This is incredible.
watch how far it can extend.
Like, I've never seen such a good snow brush other than the one that I bought from my Raptor.
Like, so much range, so heavy duty, and it pivots.
Yeah. It's great.
Okay, back to the car.
The seats, very comfortable once I raise my seating position slightly, because if I had my super low seating position, this is what I'm talking about with my arms. It's like I'm shrugging my shoulders the whole time, so I have to raise it up, and then I'm comfortable.
Power seats on both sides. Lumbar only forward and back, but no presets.
Do you have lumbar on the passenger side?
Yeah, dude.
Impressive.
But there's no presets. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
they're saving that for the GMC and the
for the
Cadillac.
higher trims, but like, man, that kind of stinks.
Yeah. Next thing I'd like to talk about are these very simple gauges. No issues reading them, but they are extremely simple, and again, kind of take the car down a notch.
But you can get your speedo to show, which is nice. That's the only thing I ever want. But I would like the speedo to be higher up. Like, I think the closer it can be to your line of sight, the better. It is always pretty low.
They need a center tack, like a 911.
Okay, you want to know something that I really like about this car that's way better than most cars, better than like a 911 or any Porsche?
Is it the screen again?
The 360 cameras.
Okay, 100%, 10 out of 10. Some of the best 360 cameras we've used and anything for this price point.
Probably the best. Like, as good as anything in the industry, but the
Yeah.
only thing that sucks is there's no hard button for the camera. So say you're in Apple CarPlay, you need to click the home button, swipe over, and then click camera, which is a total pain to do 3 button clicks if you want to check how close you are to parking in front of a car and not hitting it.
And we also have a camera for our rear view mirror, which is awesome. Unfortunately, it's currently blocked because it's icy.
Yeah, but it is a good thing to have, especially with like the snowy weather, and it's like a small window far back there. And if you have like a full 7 people
Yep.
covering everything up, that's a good thing to see. And I have gotten more used to it over the years. Still not my favorite feature, but it is nice.
And other random stuff. As I was researching this vehicle, I wanted to know what owners of this vehicle, the previous generation, were saying about theirs. The number one complaint was the start-stop system. Apparently it was too abrupt.
The auto start stop?
Yeah. So I actually tested that out. I do not find it too abrupt.
No, that's good.
But you can actually disable it down here, which is really nice. So if you do have the complaint, you just press this button and just waste a little bit more gas.
And below that, we do have the lane keep button. It is like lane departure assist. It's not good lane centering, highway stuff, but we do have radar cruise for the highway. We still have not driven Cadillac Super Cruise or Super Cruise, because I think they have Super Cruise in the Bolt now.
I think they have it in some Chevys. Yeah.
One of these years, mark my
Super
words,
Cruise 2.0.
by 2027, we will test out Super Cruise. But you know what would have really good radar cruise lane keep?
What's that, Yuri?
Telluride or Palisade.
Yes. You know what they would also do is probably pass the visor test.
3, 2, 1. Oh yeah!
Full pass. However, touching these visors, I swear to God, this is wrapped cardboard.
This
Like,
is very, very flimsy quality.
what about the cup holders?
Cup holders fit a small cup just fine. Kind of. It's on the edge.
So it's not just fine, it's barely.
Nah, yeah, you're right. Because you know what?
That's-
This is sloped.
This is a
So,
fail.
so on this side
Yes.
it's perfect, but on that side it's not.
Well, good thing we have opposed fingers so that we can grab stuff.
Not my ideal, but it gets the job done. There are a lot worse cup holders out there.
True, there are.
And to end things off with another thing that I do like, the sound system's pretty good. You can crank the bass way too much, and it's still really good sounding.
Excellent.
So with everything, I think, out of the way, I think we went pretty detailed with this thing.
Extremely detailed.
Let's get to the price.
This one, as it sits, $53,413.
Honestly, pretty decent price for a full 3 rows.
You're getting a lot of interior space, like I said. It doesn't drive poorly or anything like that. The engine is very quick. It's a decent car if you need an SUV right now with 3 rows.
It's just not the styling for me. I prefer like the RS looks of Chevrolets. Like the RS Blazer, I think looks awesome.
I think the Ford Explorer looks better than this. I like everything about the Ford Explorer more than this. And they even offer an ST version.
Yeah, I don't like the chrome on this really that much. I think it's a little too chromed out. They should do like a different style.
This would be the bottom of my list in terms of competitors.
So let us know what you think of this Chevy Traverse and what other big SUVs should we do next that we haven't reviewed yet.
3 rows are my favorite type of row.
Or small SUVs.
Yes.
Or small cars. What should we review that we haven't reviewed yet?
A Bugatti.
Spark?
Yeah. A Trax.
Mirage?
A Buick. We've never reviewed. Oh, we did the Electra from 1976 or whatever.
It kicks.
Yep.
Juke.
Let us know.